graduate MFA design program at California College of the Arts launched the Futures Lab in summer 2020 as a hub for contemporary design research and practice to amplify the ambitious work being made by CCA faculty, students, and alumni, and to create a bridge between industry and academia.
In this program, we ask students to consider the agency of design to build more inclusive, nimble, and bold futures. We use speculative design in the Futures Lab to explore emerging technologies, values, and trajectories in design.
As an alum of CCA and a design practitioner in the music industry myself, I initiated Designing the Future of Music, a program with CCA and Global Innovation Design Program at Royal College of Art and Imperial College of London, to examine challenges that the music industry faces today.
Artists who are sort of reflecting the times and deeply thinking about their impact. I think they're some of the first people that everyone calls. You can only go so far with the sort of data, with the information. In order to get that information into people's hearts and crack them open and really connect with things, you have to have the emotional. They need to sort of feel moved. And I think that's in large part why so many people are protesting and waking up right now and learning and reading books.
I suppose everybody in the creative world is thinking along these lines. How do we create a culture where people can come together in their thousands and celebrate music, performances, etc.?
With our artists, what I've seen happening is maybe born out of fear and at least a small sense of desperation. There's a willingness to try new things. And that is oftentimes a challenge, and it's a challenge to maintain authenticity and yet also try things you're uncomfortable with.
Design is about solving problems at its core and finding maybe new ways to then, you put it through your own filter and have it come back out. So I think this is a time where everything is breaking down to the point where there's no excuse for true innovation now.
It's always happening, the creativity. When you're successful at making some object, that's one aspect of it, but it's always happening. Like my uncle used to say, you got to go through it to get to it, So even when it's not happening for me tangibly, I know that I feel like it's still something I got to do that'll get me to the next situation that it does happen.
Likened the process of design to that of playing jazz music, and the idea that the skills of being that observer are listening really carefully, but also having your own well-honed skill set and understanding what you can bring to the situation, and that kind of back and forth, the process and that mode of inquiry, and about the empathy and the observation. Design at its best as a process maybe could bring some tools to the world to help with some of the reimagining that everyone from every role and every discipline is likely to need to do.
I don't think I realized how much design and music overlapped until I started to pay attention to it. Much of what design and innovation is stopping, shutting up, and listening. Kind of a collective agreement or a social contract to be working together towards something, sharing ownership of that, recognizing when to step back, when to step forward, when to solo or when to accompany.
I feel it is artists that are the best equipped to create a sort of non-science-based language that people can begin to understand, for it to be hypertly, to dwell in the sensorial, and how, again, that is shared within the public.
We're living in a time of unbearable ambiguity, and uncertainty is really the word of the day. And so how do you actually give your clients, give your projects, give yourself that certainty when we're all feeling unmoored? But I think where music enters into it, it's a sensory, extremely personal, extremely powerful, extremely timeless way of kind of embracing content. It may be the hardest one.
How can you break through the noise? I interview quite a lot of older designers. There's always a lot of stuff going on. There has to be something really good happening because there's always a lot of noise, and the good stuff always eventually breaks through.
It's that seesaw of both, of figuring out how we can use it to understand the situation, but also how we can use it to do something about it.
The line doesn't really need to be there between your own individuality and the people that you rock with. I find myself in the collaborations, you know, I find myself in the challenges, in the new ideas that is presented to me by the people that I get to work with and relate to and create with.
It's more about the how, as people, you know, the diversity of people and minds approach problems and solve them for a diverse group of people.
I would say the glue to that is trust. I think trust brings about some of the wildest creations.
Following through on what is your true passion is a hard thing to do. So I think we need to encourage that with each other. There's a lot that people have to offer with their true purpose, and like finding that takes time. And you kind of have to have courage, I think, to just keep shifting. Even when you've got the big cushy job and everything's working and you're like, yeah, I made it. It's like, okay, but are you, you know, what else? What else have you not done? Or what do you want to do that might really fulfill you even more?
Students from both schools work together in teams to speculate on possible technology-based solutions to the way we experience music today. They examined everything from home music experiences to the future of music events to the instrumentation of the city itself.
During the course of the program, we connected students with artists and managers and technologists to understand the music industry and its future.
Designing the Future of Music exemplifies the ethos of the Futures Lab, demonstrating how interdisciplinary collaboration, global partnerships, and creative research leads to ideas that can transform our world for the better.
Thank you.